In today's gospel, we find Peter and the apostles in a state of uncertainty. For 3 years, they have followed Jesus in his public ministry. 3 years before, he had called them away from their old lives into something new. And they put their trust in him. They dedicated their lives to following him. And then Holy Week happened. Jesus was arrested, and they denied him and scattered. Jesus died upon the cross, and they doubted his return. He rose again, and he began to appear to them, and yet they did not know what to do. And we can see in them this state of transition there upon the Sea of Galilee. Now what? What are they supposed to do? Everything was going to be different. Different again. What will this change mean for their lives? And they look to Peter to lead them, but he doesn't have all the answers. They fall back on what they know. Let's go fishing. And for us too, it can feel like we can be in a similar kind of state of uncertainty. 2 months ago, we read the letter from the Archbishop announcing the new pastoral planning initiative, the Journey of Faith. And since then, I know that there's been many of questions, discussions among us. Before Easter, I gave a homily considering the three critical realities that require us to go on this journey of faith: the decrease in mass attendance, the decrease in priests, the population shift, and especially the decrease in our rural population. And I know that many have speculated what this process will mean. Hopefully, a number of you took up our invitation to go and check out the journeyoffaith.org website for more accurate information into the process. A few of your parish representatives all joined this past Thursday with the Archbishop and representatives from the Archdiocesan planning team at St. Teresa's that evening to present more clarifying information on this process. And so with the assistance of these representatives from your parishes, we will be communicating more to you about the details in the coming days. And again, of course, you can find all of this immediately on that website, journeyoffaith.org, since none of this is meant to be kept hidden from you at all. The apostles' uncertainty and their fear, in that moment, Jesus shows up. And he shows up to reaffirm their mission as his disciples. He doesn't tell them every detail right away, but he assures them that he's with them. And with Peter in particular in the gospel, we see Peter, the one who had denied Jesus 3 times. Jesus has come for even him to reaffirm his role of being a leader, inviting Peter to rededicate himself as he asks him 3 times, "Peter, do you love me?" "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Feed my sheep." While not everything in our future will be exactly as it has always been in the past, some things will not change. Jesus' love for us, his presence with us, and our call to follow him. We have not been left alone to navigate the rocky sea of life by ourselves. And just as the apostles were asked to go through transition, so too are we. And while they didn't know at first what they were to do, Jesus had plans for them that he would reveal in time. And their transition was for the purpose of bringing his life to all people through all centuries, even to you and I. Had the apostles not gone through these moments of transition, these moments of uncertainty, then the gospel would not have been proclaimed across the earth. And we today may not know the Lord at all. But we'll find that this is also the purpose of the journey of faith, of this pastoral planning process, to create flourishing within our parishes, to call us, like the apostles, not just to live simply for ourselves, but to move forward and outward as our baptism calls us to do, to take co-responsibility in the sharing of the gospel, in particular in our little part of the world. It can feel as though maybe at this point there's just too few of us anymore to do that kind of task of sharing the good news. But that's really pretty much how God has always done it. If we look through the scriptures, it's always with just a few. Because then, when success comes, we know it's not ours, but the victory is his. How else could he take these 12 feeble men and convert the whole world? The first step, though, for Peter is to be rededicated in following Jesus, to be a fisher of men. Yes, Lord, you know I love you. These past several weeks, we've been trying to do the same ourselves in praying the Memorare at Mass. Remember, this was to express our desire to consecrate ourselves, our parishes, this whole planning process to Jesus and his Blessed Mother. By consecrating ourselves to Mary, we're asking that she help us to see and to seek her Son's will over our own. As Peter and the apostles say in the first reading today, we must obey God rather than men. And that includes, too, if the men we're speaking of is even ourselves, our own will. We must obey God rather than man. And so today, since it's the start of the Marian month of May, we'll be making our formal act of consecration at the end of the intercession. So you'll find the prayer of consecration on the front of the bulletin if you happen to pick it up. If you do, you can follow along and pray aloud with me as we pray that prayer at the end of our intercessions here in a few moments. And then after today, we'll again return to the Memorare as we continue to dedicate this whole process and ourselves to the Lord. Like Jesus asked Peter to do, especially in the moments of transition and moments when we have our own uncertainty, let us rededicate ourselves to serving Jesus and our neighbor. Do you love me, he asks. Yes, Lord, you know I love you. Feed my sheep.